Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Disney Dining Show, coming to you from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, Dreams Unlimited travel agent Sean Falk.
Hey.
Mr. Steve Porter.
Hello.
And our associate producer, Fiasco, Corey Fiasconaro.
How's it going?
Welcome, folks. Hope your week is off to a good start. This week, we are going to do some topic shows for the next few weeks. And this one was a suggestion from Sean. Restaurants worth leaving the park for. So you're in the parks and you're doing your thing and you want to leave to eat. So depending on which theme park you're at, there are ones that we think are best suited. So let's start with Magic Kingdom.
Okay.
The Wave.
Mm-hmm.
The Wave is number one on my list. If you are at the Magic Kingdom, and this is breakfast, lunch, or dinner, this is a great, easy walk from the Magic Kingdom, 5 minutes. And so far, I must have eaten at this restaurant about 10 times in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And every meal has been phenomenal.
I'm right there with you. For sit-down restaurants, the Wave is up there for like the place I visited the most. Never have I ever had a bad experience there. For every meal of the day, been there for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Never a bad time. Never a bad meal.
And I only one credit on the dining plan. So.
Mm-hmm. And I have not been to the Wave in a while. That certainly wasn't, like, even when I suggested the topic, it wasn't one that crossed my mind. I've heard good things recently, and I've had a few of my clients go to the Wave and say that they had a really good experience. I haven't been in like 2 years, I think, and I went a couple times back then, but I never enjoyed it. So I'm surprised that it's on the rise. So that's for some foreshadowing there, but the future weeks. But yeah, I'll have to try it again, I guess.
Yeah, this restaurant when it first opened was fantastic, and then it went downhill. It went into its dark period, and then about a year ago, a new executive chef came in and kind of turned the place around. And I'm in love with it. It is one of my go-to restaurants now. The other one that I never thought these words would leave my mouth, but multiple experiences in the last few months have led me to feel that this is another great place to pop out of the Magic Kingdom, quick monorail ride over to the Grand Floridian to the Grand Floridian Cafe. Again, breakfast, lunch, and dinner on offer. And I chose these, I feel these are good choices because you don't have to worry about kind of being sweaty and as opposed to the California Grill at the top of the Contemporary, great restaurant, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that's where you want to go eat
for lunch and then go
or dinner. Well, they only serve dinner, right?
Oh, yeah,
but you don't want to be in that environment and all sweaty and ratty.
Right. Well, my thing too, I typically my look is tank tops and basketball shorts, and I have gotten a last minute reservation at California Grill and was shocked to get it. Literally got it right at fireworks time and showed up, and they were like, "Nope, we won't seat you because you're not dressed appropriately to be at this restaurant." So a lot of times it's that too. You see tons of people. It's 105 degrees here in the summertime, so people aren't necessarily dressed to feel comfortable going somewhere like California Grill.
Right. Now, I feel the same way about Citrico's over at Grand Floridian. Great restaurant, but it's not someplace I'd want to go in looking like a schlub. Not that I'm saying any of these places you want to go looking like a schlub, but if you're just in T-shirt and
theme
shorts.
Theme park attire is fine in these other places.
You can get away with it.
Yeah, I think it's also a thing where they're not too far away, and that was the general concept behind it. I mean, if I'm in if I'm in Tomorrowland, it's about as far for me to get out of the park and get to the Contemporary. It's only a little further than me walking all the way across the park to eat even like Jungle Skipper Canteen or whatever, trying to get those last minute reservations as well. I can pretty typically get something at the Wave or whatever if I need to compared to in the park.
I'll also point out that these restaurants that are on this list, at least for the Magic Kingdom, I feel are better than the table service restaurants, generally speaking, available inside the Magic Kingdom.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
And sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need a break. Another one, the Wave you can walk to, Grand Floridian Cafe, you can hop a monorail. These next two, you hop a boat. One over Wilderness Lodge, Geyser Point.
My favorite location at Walt Disney World to do quick service dining.
It's unbelievable how good it is.
Yeah.
Really and truly. And these guys raved about it, and before I'd had a chance to try it, and then once I'd done it, I was like, oh wow, these guys weren't lying. It's incredible.
Yeah, I hadn't tried it until after Steven Rhino had been raving about it, and then I went there with you, Pete, and I've been back, I don't know, like 4 times now. It's just the food, like there's lots of burgers, so it's lots of burgers and sandwich type options, but they're like $12, $13 burgers and sandwiches, and I go there and I'm like, they're better than a lot of the sit-down restaurant burgers and sandwiches. Not only that, but the view, that view is unbeatable.
Well, just the whole atmosphere. It's open air. I mean, you're undercover, but it's open air, and it's just really casual seating, and the food's really good, and the whole atmosphere there at Wilderness Lodge is amazing.
Well, and I just want to reiterate your Fiasco's point about pricing. I mean, really, $12, $13, $14 for a burger is what you're going to see at, Pecos Bills or, Cosmic Rays.
Yeah.
For a burger, but this is an experience where you're sitting down at a table with a waiter or server that comes over to you. It's like kind of you're getting a nicer experience for the cost of quick
this
service.
this is considered a quick
Technically,
service.
there's like a quick service window, and then it's a bar, so you have like the server that would provide you drinks will also bring you food, so it essentially
Well, no, the servers also take your order.
Yeah, exactly.
Sitting down, not at the bar. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
But but is it a table service credit or a quick service credit? Do we know?
That's a good question. Let me
Why
look
don't
up
you go
while
look
you
that
further
up?
discuss.
Because regardless, whether it's worth it. It's worth it. The food is great, service is great, the atmosphere is great, and it's just a really nice break. If the park is nuts and that boat ride across is in and of itself is awesome. But that's also equally true of the next one on the list, over at Fort Wilderness, Trails End. Again, breakfast, lunch, and dinner buffets, I believe. Yeah, and
They have it as a quick service restaurant on their menu, so I'm assuming that'd be a quick service credit.
yeah, I would imagine. So, but Trails End is a table service credit. All these are one table service credits. I love Trails End.
I love Trails End too. I think the meal's really, really good there, and I like that they offer enough different things from Hoop-de-Doo musical review. It's just like they literally bring the food over from Trails End to there, and they have enough offerings that are even beyond that or different that I'm like, okay, it's worth it to still come here and try it. But even then, like when we went, I got a salad as part, like the salad from Hoop-de-Doo, but they had different dressing options as well. I wanted the one from Hoop-de-Doo, but they do have other options too. I think it's great.
Didn't she go and get it for you?
Yes, she went over to the other side and got it for me. So, just like when I've been there, I've had them go over to the other side and get me stuff at Trails End. But, yeah, I think it's great. I don't know that I would go that far from the park. I like to go back and forth just because, like, getting there and then transferring and all that
Well,
stuff.
no, literally is just a boat ride from, it's a boat launch to Fort Wilderness, right outside the Magic Kingdom. It takes you right to Fort Wilderness.
I guess in my head, I'm just thinking, like, I don't know how far I'd go. Because I'm thinking if I had kids and strollers and all that kind of stuff, I don't know. But
Well,
I think it's great, though. I think it's a great restaurant.
If we're talking, there's not many other options.
Oh, I know.
I mean, if you want to get out of the park and eat, but not get in a car or take a bus or do any of that stuff. So that's the list I have. Does anybody have anything else that I didn't include here?
As far as Magic Kingdom goes, the only other thing I would do is Captain's Grill.
Captain
correct?
Cook's?
Captain Cook's, yeah, Captain's Cook.
Captain Cook's over at the Poly?
Yeah, Captain Cook's
Yeah.
is like a nice, if you want to pop over there like and have a little while, like especially if you want to leave Magic Kingdom, because I get a shocking number of people that are just very surprised that Magic Kingdom doesn't really serve alcohol, as you know, unless you do certain sit-down restaurants. But they're just floored by this that have never been, and they're like, what am I going to do? And so I've told them, hey, you can go over to the Polynesian.
Well, there are 12-step programs too. I mean,
Well, you can do Trader Sam's and have some Dole Whip, and then just get a quick service. The wings are really good there, the coconut meatballs and all that. So you can kind of make a few hours out of your break of your day.
you
of it,
just
right,
stop at
popping over
the coconut meatballs.
Yeah, it's
no,
really
just
good.
stop right there. I mean, that's arguably maybe the greatest thing ever invented in the history of the world. I don't want to oversell it though. All right, so let's go over to Epcot. Now, Epcot's a little bit more challenging because Epcot's got a lot of great restaurants in it.
Yeah. This one for me, honestly, while I think these are good suggestions, it probably of any of the theme parks would be the one that I would be least likely to leave, just because there's.
yeah.
So
But
many
sometimes you just want a break.
Yeah, definitely.
You want a break from the park. And of course, Epcot is located right next to some great resorts that have some great options. Not everyone's going to agree with me on this because it can be touch and go, but I really like Big River Grill over at the Boardwalk. Especially, it's pub food.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it's a microbrewery. They make their own beer. Not that that matters to me, but for a lot of people, that's really cool. Especially if you like that atmosphere or that type of thing. Going into the pub in England, in the UK Pavilion, that place is jammed packed.
Yep.
So head over to Big River Grill. Great burgers, lots of very
nachos.
typical bar food. But I have always had a good experience there. As a matter of fact, last time we did a dining review there, and I fell in love with that server. She was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was the only time that I've actually been to Big River. It's never been something like on my radar at all. But we did it that day, and it was an amazing experience. Amazing service, ridiculously good service, and the food was for the price. Really good too.
Really good.
So
And I've usually had that experience. A lot of people tell me they didn't like it. So this is one that just may be me, that I like it, but I'll put it on my list. You had suggested also Cape May Cafe.
Yeah, especially for people who like seafood. We recently did Cape May, and I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I'm a big crab legs person and all sorts of different seafood, so I thought it was well worth it to get the unlimited. And compared to in Epcot, if you want seafood, the only option is going to be pretty much Coral Reef. I can't think of anything else that's going to have those options at all. And even that's a totally different, Cape May's a buffet where you're going to go up and just grab a billion crab legs essentially. And then Coral Reef's a little more trying to be upscale-ish. So it's different. But yeah, I think that's maybe the only. I don't know that I'd leave Epcot anyway to go eat something else. I'd eat in Epcot because that's my favorite park to go to and to eat. So.
And yeah, even as somebody who doesn't eat seafood, they had for dinner the breakfast buffet. I've always enjoyed there as well, but for dinner, I got to say there was some great food on that buffet.
I've never been.
You've never done Cape May Cafe?
Yeah, I've never been.
Do you eat
good.
seafood?
Yeah.
That's good.
You might want to try it out. I also put, tentatively, I put Flying Fish. Because it does fall into the same category, really, as California Grill and Citrico's. This is signature dining. You may not feel comfortable being there in theme park, after a day in the theme park, because they only serve dinner. But I still think Flying Fish is one of the most underrated restaurants on property. You talk about a consistently good meal for a couple of years now. This is one of my go-tos. So if you want a signature experience, it's certainly better than virtually anything in Epcot. Signature experience, signature dining wise. It's superior to anything else, almost anything else in Epcot. It is. So, and it's a short walk from International Gateway.
Especially if you're visiting in the cooler months, like if you're going in the middle of July and you're all sweaty and nasty, it might not be a great choice because then, like we said, you're gonna feel like a schlub. But if it's January and you're wearing like a light sweatshirt anyways, then I feel like you're not gonna feel that nasty going into a nice restaurant. Where if it's 95 and 100% humidity all day and you've been sweating, then it probably is not gonna be as interesting or of a choice. I don't know.
Yeah, I also want to give a plug for Trattoria Al Forno for breakfast.
Yeah.
The sail away. What's it called? Anybody?
Yeah,
Rapunzel and Little Mermaid.
Yeah, Rapunzel, Little Mermaid, Flynn Rider, and Eric. That's not really one that you'd necessarily leave for, but I do have lots and lots of clients that I recommend it to. I ate there the first time, like right after it first opened, and it still is my favorite breakfast at all the parks or anything. So that's my favorite breakfast on Disney property. And I do have people, because a lot of people are like, I have young kids and we want to do like a half day at Epcot, or there's not a lot for them to do on previous trips. And I'm like, okay, just take that day, sleep in. Like that could either be your first day after you've flown and traveled the day before. Sleep in, we'll make a reservation for you at Trattoria, and then you can pop into Epcot after as a thing because you're already right behind, and then you can go ahead and just go right in and take your bus back to wherever your resort is from that and everything. So it's a really great option to like start your breakfast day with young kids and then get to go in the park and still have them meet a couple of the princesses and the princes, which you don't usually get to meet. So
yeah, no, I absolutely loved that breakfast. The food was good, the service was good,
Yeah.
the characters were unbelievable.
yeah, every time I've been, it's amazing.
Now,
So
you did not have a good experience there.
Yeah, so I wanted to interject there. I've only heard amazing things about the breakfast, and we wanted to go do the breakfast. And then we decided, like, kind of last minute, we weren't really feeling the character thing today, so we bumped it up to a dinner. And we did not like our dinner at all.
I've never done dinner.
Yeah.
I have done dinner there, and I've generally had good experiences. So I think you're just broken.
I will say, though, the only bad experience I've ever had there for breakfast, it wasn't anyone's fault really, but there's one thing I don't really like about this restaurant, that there's this side room that you pay less, I think, but you don't get the characters for. Well, the door swings open and close, and so there's little kids in that other room that saw the characters, but then were trying to get their parents to come over into the room where the characters were, but they didn't pay for that experience. So the princesses had to tell like these little kids, like, no, because the parents.
You're not magical enough for me.
Yeah, and then the table that me and my wife were sitting at was right next to that, so we were like caught in the like crossfire of like this argument going on of like this girl just wanting to meet the princess, and I felt bad for the kid because she doesn't understand, but the parent should have been the one that it was like, oh, like, gosh, get me out of this situation, this is terrible.
And I do want to say,
So easily stressed.
Oh, I would have been totally fine. I'm like, stay on your side. They're like, we're over here.
before we move on to the next park, I do want to say something about Flying Fish, because it is a nicer, like more upscale restaurant, and most people that go there do dress up. I went, just from my experience, I went there one time from the theme park after being in the theme park for 8 hours with like clothes that I'd wear to the theme park, shirt and shorts. And everybody else around me was all dressed up, and it felt super uncomfortable. So I knew the next time, hey, I'm going to dress up. And then I dressed up the next time, and I was literally like the only person dressed up. And it was like families.
Well,
all in
again,
gear.
this is true of all Walt Disney World restaurants. I mean, they don't want you wearing hats, tank tops, flip-flops, things like that. I mean, it's a pretty, they give you a wide berth in terms of that. The only place that really enforces a dress code at Walt Disney World is Victoria and Albert's, where it's jacket and tie for men and
Well, doesn't California Grill also, like you were saying, they
Yeah, you
don't,
can't
like,
wear tank tops and stuff.
Well, that's tank tops, hats, flip flops. You can't wear that in any of them. Any sit down restaurant, they're gonna turn you away.
I do have to make like a side
Signature
plug here.
restaurant, I should say.
I have to make an aside plug because the first time I went to Monsieur Paul, I was so excited to go try it, and
Monsieur Paul's different.
Well, I read online like these are the guidelines and made sure that I had the clothes. So like I wore my typical tank top and stuff to EPCOT, and I brought dress clothes in a backpack. So like me and 3 of my friends literally had to go get changed in the bathrooms over at the England Pavilion and get dressed up to go to this meal. And we got there and every person was wearing flip flops and tank tops and shorts. And I was like, I cannot.
Well, I don't
believe
think
we
they let them
dragged
wear.
around.
I don't think they let them wear flip flops.
No,
but,
they did. There were other people because we asked the server. We were like, "Why are they doing it?" And they were like, "It's early in the day, and we just kind of like
with
let them."
Monsieur Paul being in a theme park, they can't exact too much of a dress code because you're in a theme park. So I think Monsieur Paul kind of falls into a gray area.
Yeah.
But all right, so Hollywood Studios, our list is pretty much the same as Epcot. Because you're going to have to go, that's the only place you're going to go.
I think this will start to change once the Skyliner opens up. I think that's going to maybe change things up, but we don't really know how that's going to change things. So,
well, I mean, we know where the Skyliner is going to go.
Yeah.
So,
And I think it'll be a good idea when it happens to be able to, because Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios are the two that I'm very like, I'll leave to not eat there. It's just nothing against the restaurants inside, but like I would rather go to the surrounding resorts.
I'm sorry. I think one of the best restaurants at Walt Disney World is located in Hollywood Studios. The Hollywood Brown Derby is phenomenal. And of course, you love your pizza Rizzo.
But I mean,
wait, do you really?
I don't love it. I just think it's not like I don't think it's that terrible of a thing. I just don't. I don't go out of my way for it though.
Hashtag he's from Tennessee.
So I do think that once the Skyliner opens, like we'll be able to hit like Riviera, and you can go over to Sebastian's, you can go over to whatever it's gonna be at Riviera. I can't remember the name, and then Toledo that just opened as of this filming. So that just opened recently, so you can try that and get to have the views and everything from there. So I think we'll have a few more options.
Yeah, these guys did an official review of Toledo. My experience wasn't quite as good as theirs. I wasn't as impressed, but that's neither here nor there. All right. Finally, Animal Kingdom Lodge. You really don't have a lot of options here either. You have the Rainforest Cafe, which
Animal
is
Kingdom Park. You said
Animal Kingdom Park. Animal Kingdom Park. You have the Rainforest Cafe, which is right outside the main entrance. I'm not a fan of any of the Rainforest Cafes, but I mean, I guess that is an option. But going to Animal Kingdom Lodge does require a bus, unless you're going to use a minivan or you're driving. And in that case, you have 2 amazing options. You have Boma, which is arguably the best buffet on property. But if you really and truly, if you're looking for a buffet and you're at Animal Kingdom, do Tusker House.
Yeah, then you don't have to leave.
The big reason to leave Animal Kingdom, if you want to go someplace nearby, is another one of the most underrated restaurants at Walt Disney World, Sanaa, over at Kidani Village, the Disney Vacation Club portion of Animal Kingdom Lodge. Even for someone who is not, by his own admission, is not adventurous, is not somebody who would normally embrace Mediterranean food, you enjoyed it.
I do, yeah. I think Sanaa's really good. I went specifically. I went with friends the first time, and then I've also went to a dining review that we did. I went specifically to see, because they love like Indian food and really spicy stuff and everything, and I'm not into that at all. And so I went to see like, can I eat something here? And the bread service and everything was amazing. So I've always had good meals there.
Just be a little open-minded, because you'll look at the menu and you'll be like, oh, this is too exotic. Be open-minded. The food is so good.
And I think that sometimes unfamiliar words don't mean unfamiliar flavors. Like something that you might not recognize on the menu might end up tasting something more tame and not as spicy as you might think.
Yeah, there's something. They have it at Tusker House, and they also have it at a couple of the like Sanaa, some restaurants like that. but it starts with an M. I don't know. It's kind of like cheese mashed potatoes or corn. I think it's like corn something. I don't know. It's really good, but I mean, in general, like there's not new things that they're like it's vegetables or vegetables.
They're not
like,
inventing new foods.
Right, they're not inventing new foods here. So I mean, it's stuff you've had in some form, like rice or curry or whatever they got in there. So it's one of those kind of things. And all these restaurants, as we're talking about it, like yes, if I'm just going to Animal Kingdom and I'm booking 11 months out before my or whenever, sorry, DVC thinking. But so
Yeah,
if,
really.
if I'm booking a year out or whenever I'm booking my vacation, I hit that, there's some people that are like, it's my 180-day mark, and I either have my travel agent or I personally am going to sit on my computer waiting to make sure I get Tusker House breakfast or make sure I get Cinderella's Royal Table or whatever it is you want. But a lot of people come like, they plan 6 weeks ahead, like, oh, we're coming to do a vacation, we're coming to do a trip, and we still want the dining plan, and we still want to get some of these experiences. You're not going to get Tusker House, for the most part, if it's right towards the end, but you can get Boma. I feel like I could pull up Boma and get something this week if I wanted.
Sure.
And so it really, I think in general, all these restaurants, even the Wave, I can pull up and usually get the Wave within a 48 to 72 hour range before it's open, compared to anything in Magic Kingdom, which is booked up, 100 days out.
Agreed.
So that's one of the best reasons I can think of to think about these options and leave the park and say, hey, you know what? Like, I can still get a good character experience getting to leave and getting to try that.
I would also like to mention, because some people might not know, where Epcot excels at having lots of sit-down restaurant options, I feel like Animal Kingdom is the king of quick service. Like
Agreed.
They have the best quick service. However, I don't know if it's still closed, but Harambe's been closed for a while. It hasn't been serving, and you still have Satuli though. But for example, me and Haley were in the park, and she's maybe not in the mood for Satuli. Every restaurant in Animal Kingdom Lodge is really good. And that doesn't exclude their quick service, the Mara.
Yeah, the Mara's really good as well. Great quick service there. But I don't know that I would leave a theme park to go to a food court.
Right.
Effectively. I would absolutely leave to go to Sanaa. And I will go as far as to say that while a little on the expensive side, even taking a minivan from Animal Kingdom to Animal Kingdom Lodge to go to Sanaa, I would do that. Now, again, that's going to add $20 to $30 to your...
Yeah, but I mean, I've had a lot of clients do that. I mean, specifically with Epcot and Animal Kingdom, those are the two. I mean, a lot of people go to Hollywood Studios planning a half day, and they'll take their other half and add on another half day at Magic Kingdom, or they want to do multiple days at Magic Kingdom. People with kids, they kind of steer away from Epcot a bit just because of having young kids. And then Animal Kingdom, for whatever reason, is the hottest place on earth, and people want to get out of Animal Kingdom during that midday stretch. I get asked about it once a week at least, of what can I do, essentially, and I'm like, well, you can go over to, we'll get reservations and you'll go over to Sanaa or something at Animal Kingdom Lodge and hang out a bit. Take your kids, walk through the savannah there. Like, you don't have to be staying there to go walk and look at the animals that are actually on the trails and stuff at that end. So you still got to feel like you're in Animal Kingdom Park without necessarily being there all day.
Being on the surface of the sun.
Exactly. So
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. That's our list of restaurants worth leaving the theme parks for. And that will do it for this week's episode of the Disney Dining Show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great one.